Hello and welcome to Bella Star Astrology. I'm your host and astrologer, Stella. Thank you to our current subscribers and welcome to our new subscribers. Today I'll be sharing horoscopes for each sign for the month of November 2023. Please like and subscribe and of course click on the bell so you can be notified as soon as a new video is posted. I post monthly horoscopes as well as special astrology lessons, and I am the co-host of the Astro Read podcast. Links are all below. Thank you for supporting this channel and thank you for sharing this video. We begin with Aries. This month, I believe it will be full of love for you, Aries, as we have Venus moving into the house of love, your seventh house, and relationships. But let's begin with the first transit of the month, which will be on November 4th. Saturn will be going direct in Pisces, followed by November 8th. As I said, Venus will be entering Libra. And just with this Saturn going direct, we get a little bit of relief from all of the pressure of that retrograde that's really slowed us down from being able to obtain the results that we were looking for. As well as that movement into Venus will really infuse a lot more harmony and love into your life. I would say if you can go out and maybe have a date with your significant other or be open to maybe a relationship that might develop throughout the transit of Venus in Libra, that will be great and constructive way for you to use that energy. Then on November 9th, Mercury will be in Sagittarius. Super positive energy. I love when the planets are moving through Sagittarius just because it's so hopeful, ruled by Jupiter. It's so abundant. So this will be marking the first planet entering at that moment. And you'll be wanting to utilize this to maybe think of new ideas and ways for you to be able to infuse more wisdom into your life. Maybe you're studying a new religious philosophy or a new way of being, and you're trying to bring that into your life. Mercury will help you, work out those different things in your mind and be able to really digest some of the information. Maybe you're studying, maybe there's big exams coming. Mercury will give you a little bit more of a boost in terms of intelligence, in terms of being able to open yourself to the information available and maybe looking at things in an alternative manner. And of course, this is followed by the November 13th new moon in Scorpio. Very strategic placement. This new moon is going to be about new beginnings when it comes to how you're managing your relationships, how you are working with the partnerships that you have, and trying to look at the resources that you have all together. Really, the eighth house is about money. It's about other people's money, what you're going to be doing with it. Maybe there's some sort of inheritance information that you learn or some sort of way of being that you're trying to create in your life. And this is really going to be a time for you to initiate those practices or maybe sit down and look at ways that you can do certain things better when it comes to your finances and managing money. Of course, we move on, and the sun enters Sagittarius on November 22nd, as well as followed by Mars on November 24th. This is a sun following Mars action that is just so awesome. Again, bringing that Mars and solar power to your ability to infuse positivity, learn, create, grow. Maybe you will teach something to others. Mars will give you the energy to sort of be in the present moment and really take in the information that your the Mercury energy in Sagittarius is bringing as well. And then the final transit will be on November 27th. There will be a full moon in Gemini. And again, this will be an ending. I think it's just very appropriate that Mercury is opposing this. It's such a full energy of what sort of mindset were you in maybe when the new moon in Gemini was there. Maybe you had started to study something and this is probably the moment that it's coming to an end, or you're just bringing it all together. You're taking the different elements of all the Sagittarius energy, of all of the energy of this year, and maybe making decisions about what you're going to do moving forward. Now, I would say overall, this is a positive month for you, Aries. So good luck with it. And remember to take it one step at a time. Saturn direct just happened, and there'll be a few more loose ends to tie up, especially with this new moon in Scorpio being very strategically placed in your 8th house and this full moon in Gemini. So take advantage of those energies and make the most of your month in November. With Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this will be the month of a more positive focus on your finances, hopefully a good result for you, maybe even a raise because of all the positive things going on, but we'll see because that Mars energy does come in at the end. We begin the month with Saturn going direct in Pisces on November 4th. This is just a big release from all of that negative energy from that Saturn retrograde. And I wouldn't even say negative. It's just so slow and everything takes forever. Maybe some of your friendships had some blocks, or you weren't able to really communicate your needs within the group, or maybe you have a dream that you've been trying to work on. This is the time now that Saturn's going direct for everything to sort of calm down and take a more clear direction as to where it's going to go. Followed by the November 8th Venus transiting Libra. It's finally in its own sign. This is the moment, especially in the 6th house. Take advantage of this energy and maybe bring some positive results into your life and health. This is very, very beneficial. You have Libra in the 6th house. It's an air sign, so there might be some things having to do with maybe taking care of yourself. Maybe you'll exercise more. Maybe Venus will infuse more beauty when it comes to your routines. You might be able to do something that makes you feel more pretty, let's say. And of course, this is such a good time for maybe some new habits between you and your significant other, especially since Venus sort of rules relationships, right? So maybe you set up new routines between you and your significant other. Moving on November 9th, Mercury will be entering Sagittarius. Sagittarius is such a positive sign, being that it will be followed by Sun and Mars. Mercury is this transit that's going to bring a lot of mind energy, let's say, into the house of your finances. So there's going to be a lot of thinking about how you're going to do things moving forward, how you're going to change. Things might tighten up, especially since Mars is coming in at the end. But since Sagittarius is positive, I would definitely say you might be thinking of more ways to make money, to diversify your accounts or the way you're doing business, even looking at your partnerships in a different way, whether it's your significant other or it's the person that you're working with in business. It's a great time to reevaluate and see how more income could be made, right? Thinking about it anyway. Then on November 13th, there'll be a new moon in Scorpio. This is sort of renewing the energy between you and your partner, making sure that you're giving love to each other and seeing through, maybe some of your plans, setting some goals together. It's a great time to sit down since you already have this Mercury in your 8th house, right? Maybe it's a great time to sit down and make a budget for both of you so that you guys can have some sort of foundation to build your wealth together, right? Then, of course, on November 22nd, Sun will be entering Sagittarius, followed by Mars on November 24th. This is such positive energy. Sun really more than Mars, since Mars is malefic, but Mars is going to give you sort of that power to do and to execute on the plans that Mercury mindset in Sagittarius brought up. And there might be some luck related to it. Maybe that and the actions you take now will be a good result maybe a few months from now. Maybe down the road, the actions you took while you had these stellium in Sagittarius in your 8th house will really be a good result once it comes to an end, but it could also be pressure to be able to make those decisions this month. So make sure that you make the right ones. That's why you have Mercury in that house as well, to help you to discern what is the best step to take, right? Then finally, the last transit will be November 27th, where full moon will be in Gemini. It's not the last transit, but the last one I'm reviewing today. And as this energy goes in and it's going through, you have to really think about the things that you were doing or the plans you were making when the new moon in Gemini happened earlier this year. Have you completed them? Have you achieved them? Especially since it's in your second house and you have all of this energy going in your eighth where money is concerned. Your second house also has to do with money, but what you've brought into your life, what you value, how you've shown that value. And if you're matching the energy of what you had decided to do in Gemini, when the new moon was in Gemini earlier, have you taken those steps? Maybe you complete a project that will result in some sort of financial gain. Maybe there is some sort of value decision that you need to make. Like, what do you need in order to move forward in your relationship, for example? What do you need in order to move forward with the decisions that you have decided to take on or responsibilities you've decided to take on? So good luck to you, Taurus. It should be a positive month overall, especially since there's so much energy in Sagittarius. And hopefully, that fiery energy of Mars in Sagittarius will put a little bit of pep in your step so you can accomplish what you want. Good luck to you this month of November 2023, Taurus. And for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this month is going to be overall super focused on your love life. There'll be a lot of energy and planets there. But we begin with Saturn going direct in Pisces in your 10th house of career. If you felt sort of truncated or stuck, maybe the last few months you felt a little apathetic, it's been that Saturn retrograde energy. Now that it's finally going direct on November 4th, you'll be able to sort of flush through all of those fears you might have had, those hangups, maybe just Saturn being Saturn and like causing delays. But this will be energy to move things forward. Maybe you sift through all the BS that you've been dealing with and just get to the point where you're creating something new, or even go focusing better on what you already have on the job or career you're already working on. Then on November 8th, Venus moves into Libra. And this is just such a great romantic energy this month. I mean, you got your fifth house and your seventh house activated. I would say if you're not already in a relationship, this is a great time for you to get out there and maybe find somebody that you're interested in. Go on a few dates, sign up for a few apps if you're not already on there, but really invest time into creating love in your life, especially with that connection between your fifth house activated by Venus and Libra, and then the stellium of Mercury, Sun, and Mars in your seventh, right? But that's also followed by the first planet that moves into Mercury on November 9th. The first planet that moves into Sagittarius, Mercury on November 9th, right? So that Mercury is going to bring into mind what I'm talking about, which is this love energy that you're trying to cultivate. Where is it coming from? Who is providing it to you? Or even better, if there are partnerships that are coming up for you, people who want to invest in your products or invest in the business that you're trying to start or create something with you even. Look at those partnerships on a really serious level. This Mercury is going to bring you to the forefront of your mind. What can you do to find partnerships? Maybe what can you do to get more joy out of them, right? Since Venus is in the fifth house. And then that's followed by the new moon in Scorpio. And this is all about the habits that you have. And that's happening on November 13th. This new moon in Scorpio is very just in a strategic place in your chart. In the sixth house, how have your habits contributed to maybe stopping you from having the love that you're trying to cultivate, right? How have the icks that you have, or, just the way that you're carrying yourself. Maybe you need to spend more time investing in yourself, investing in your health, creating a better outlook when it comes to how you're going to have a healthy lifestyle, not just right now, right? So maybe like since Saturn is going direct, since it's affecting your 10th house, maybe something about being too much of a workaholic is stopping you. And so that new moon energy can be infused into maybe creating new habits that are able to balance your life, to bring you more joy, to bring more pleasure into the experience of your love life. And of course, this new moon is followed by on November 22nd, the Sun entering Sagittarius, and November 24th, Mars entering Sagittarius. And this is going to cause that energy of just focus for Mars and the energy of bringing this into your, life. Like, who is it that is going to be there? What relationships are you trying to cultivate? And maybe you'll attract as you change, right? Because new moon is going to bring about some sort of emotional change or emotional focal point that you're just going to have to make a decision. What are you going to do moving forward with your actions, right? The habits you have in your sixth house that's going to be able to help support you as Mars, Sun, Mercury are in your seventh house and Venus is in your fifth and helping you to bring about a more loving relationship. Now, if you're already in a relationship, maybe this is a good time for you to sort of reignite the love. Maybe you need to go out on more dates. Maybe you need to find a babysitter. Maybe it's time for you guys to take a vacation or some sort of trip, and you might decide, okay, how can we create more balance when it comes to what we're going to achieve here and have a better relationship together. So that will be really fun. And of course, this is all coming tied together to the November 27th full moon in Gemini. And I would say the overall theme of the month is what can you give up in yourself, right? Full moon endings, culmination, so that you are able to obtain the type of love, the type of romantic relationship that you deserve, right? What sort of habits do you have to shed that are going to be able to make you more either attractive, whether it's financially, emotionally available, or physically appearing in a better physical state, right? Not that you're in any way or shape less than because of your physical state, but you want to make sure that you're always at your best, right? That's what that sixth house energy is. It's health, overall health. And healthy people, Gemini, healthy people take the time to self reflect. And since your ruling planet Mercury is in the seventh house, it's about reflecting about your love life, how it can be better, what you can do, use this time to take that power into into this moment, right? I hope that you guys enjoy this month, Gemini. Overall, all that Sagittarius energy is positive. So if you're not in a relationship, maybe by the end you already are, right? Or if you are in a relationship, maybe there's more love and light brought into it, right? Good luck to you, Gemini, and make sure that you like and share and subscribe. And welcome, Cancer, for your November 2023 horoscopes. This is for you, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And I would say overall this month, your health is really going to be in focus, your habits, how you're leading your life, maybe ending some really bad habits that are maybe not serving you in your overall needs for better health, right? So, Cancer, we begin the month on November 4th with Saturn going direct in Pisces. This is the ninth house. Maybe you felt like you haven't been able to travel as much or learn as much. There's been some sort of frustration or cloud around what you want to do with your future. And Saturn retrograde has just been there to sort of help you take the time to make those decisions, to sift through all of the things that you want to do. And maybe you should just do whatever you want at the end of the day, right? Maybe that's what the lesson was with Saturn retrograde this time around. But in any case, Saturn goes direct on the 4th. It's time for you to take action on those decisions now that you're going to be free from that slowness of Saturn. And of course, Mars, Sun, Mercury are all going to help you, support you throughout this month as you're making those decisions. systems. So the next transit will be Venus in Libra on November 8th. And of course, this is in your fourth house of just home. Like, are you happy with the way you're living? Are you happy with your home life right now? Or could it improve in some way? Maybe you want to travel more now that Saturn's going direct. Maybe you want to do different things. Maybe you want to get out more because of that Mars energy in your sixth house and change some habits, take more walks, have more energy overall, right? The Venus in Libra is going to bring a lot of beauty into your home as well. So I would just be careful about how much you're spending because really, when Venus enters the fourth house, for most people, it's all about beautifying the home, and you end up on a shopping spree at Target or some other store. And you don't remember why you have all these things, but you know you want to beautify your home, right? So as the month goes on, November 9th, Mercury enters Sagittarius. This is just really great energy to bring again into the mind, like overall your health. Like, how have you been doing? Are you up to date with the medical procedures or medical records that you'd like to keep, like the visits that you'd like to make? Are you doing everything you can to make yourself healthier? Are you investing into yourself as you should in order to build the habits that are, going to help you to build that healthy lifestyle? And most importantly, is there work-life balance? Like, Mercury in this area is just going to help you so much with your work. It's going to help bring a lot of thought process and energy into deciding which habits are best for you and how to take them on, right? How to do it all, really, Mercury. If Mercury could do it all, Mercury would, right? And then on November 13th, there'll be a new moon in Scorpio, and that'll be, your fifth house, just this time for you to take some time to enjoy yourself. That's what overall I would say. Like, what are you doing to enjoy yourself? What are you doing to infuse play into your life? Maybe even romance. It would be a great time for you to go out on a date, maybe if with your husband or significant other, wife, etc. Maybe it's a good time for you to play with your children and really connect with them on a deeper level. Take them to Disney World, for example, since Saturn's finally going direct, plan an extravagant trip for everyone, right? Um, but moving on, then we have the next transit on November 22nd and November 24th as Sun and Mars enter Sagittarius. So Sun on the 22nd of November, Mars on the 24th. And this is like a great duo to have at trio, really, because Mercury's going to be there with them. And maybe just infuse a lot more energy. Mars is action. Sun is the focus of this month. Like, you've got to get healthy. You've got to get working out. You've got to get doing the habits that are going to be the foundation of your life. Maybe there'll be some energy around maybe helping your pets and giving them something that will help their health as well, right? You'll go on more walks with your dog, for example, right? So go out there and just do everything you can. Use this Mars energy really to maybe create new exercise regimen or create a new way for you to eat healthy and enjoy your life. Maybe create new work-life balance habits. Like, just don't go crazy with this Mars in the sixth house and overwork yourself because you're so obsessed, right? Maybe it's time for you to obsess about bringing balance into that area, right? Especially since Venus is in your fourth house. It's sort of like opposing that 10th house energy of just work, 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 right? You want to maybe bring it back down and focus on your family, focus on your relationships, focus on your home, beautify yourself, beautify your home, right? And maybe put some business aside for you to be able to put your fitness and health first, right? And then, of course, this is all tied together with that full moon in the 12th house on November 27th, right? That is what I'm talking about. Now that this full moon is happening, you'll have had made decisions, right? Because of all this energy in your sixth house that will definitely change the way you view your health overall. And since the 12th house really rules a lot of that healing energy, maybe all of these habits will help you heal from maybe past trauma you had or an experience that you had that wasn't as healthy in the past or wasn't as good. Or maybe it'll be the end, right? This is the 12th house of some bad habits that you were just not able to kick. And so hopefully this full moon in Gemini will help you kick those bad habits to the side, make better decisions, and moving forward, use that energy of Mars, Sun, Mercury to be able to do the things you need to do to build a healthy lifestyle and a work-life balance, right? So that is your month, Cancer. Hopefully you guys have a great month and do all the things you can do to improve your health and life. Good luck in November. For my Leo sun, moon, and rising, we begin this month now on November 4th with Saturn going direct in Pisces. Really, like this for you is more so about getting your life in order. Eighth house Pisces energy is really just giving you some freedom to be able to take advantage of some of the decisions that you've been making, maybe financially, maybe when it comes to the partnerships you're in, maybe even, your relationship in general. Where are you guys going to be headed into? Those delays are now sort of like released. Saturn is giving you a little bit of freedom to move forward with these plans instead of sort of being stuck and reflective, slowing things down. That is followed by November 8th, Venus entering Libra. And of course, this is your third house, Leo. Like, do what you do with your third house in Venus, like socialize, like get out there, meet some new neighbors, meet some new friends, connect with your siblings and extended family. This is a really good time if you want to go hang out with your extended family, maybe do a dinner, things like that. I'm assuming that you will if you're in the States and you're celebrating Thanksgiving. But this is such a harmonious time for that connection. Maybe even going and doing some short trips. There might be some lovely things that you could do together with your significant other, right? Or with your friends. Then on November 9th, Mercury will be entering Sagittarius. Again, this is the first of the stellium that will be happening this month. And I'm telling you, I love Sagittarius energy. It's just so positive and so exciting. Bringing to mind for you this month, Leo, this Mercury in your fifth house is going to be about romance. That's why I said maybe that trip with your significant other, since Venus is going to be in the third house and Saturn's going to be moving some money around for you. This will be going direct in your eighth, and just being able to make those decisions. Maybe now you decide on taking some sort of trip together, whether it's a cruise or a flight, or just a more short trips, really, with the third house. So maybe a drive and a road trip, right? Then on November 13th, the new moon will be in Scorpio. And this is just such a lovely placement for you. It's in the fourth house. It's going to bring a lot of just harmony to that fourth house energy, maybe some reconciliation and some new relationships, connection with the people that you're closest to. Maybe even, you'll be able to make your home more comfortable. There'll be a lot of emotions when it comes to this, and a lot of connection to this. But overall, this is such a good omen for you this month, something that will bring about some fundamental changes that you need to make when it comes to your foundations and your home life, right? Then this follows the next two planets entering Sagittarius. On November 22nd, Sun will be entering Sagittarius, and on November 24th, Mars will be entering Sagittarius. And so I would really just take advantage of that Mars energy and Sun energy, just helping you focus and giving you motivation in terms of what you're doing romantically, how you're activating yourself creatively. And since Mercury is there, and this is really the house of creativity, it could be that you're able to have more ideas about what businesses you'd like to start. Being that the new moon is in the fourth house, maybe you've been wanting to work from home for a while. this is going to be an opportunity for you to use that creative energy, use that motivation from Mars to sort of push you in the direction you want to go in, right? And of course, this could also be things regarding family and relationships. Maybe there's a possible pregnancy or some sort of energy around being a mother or connecting with your mother, right? Creatively connecting with your own mother. Fifth house is not mother, but since the new moon is activating your fourth house, I would say that that is connected to the next level of where you're going with those relationships, and those planets entering your fifth are really giving you a notice like, hey, this could be a creative way for you to connect with your family, with your mother, especially since your familial houses are being activated this month. Venus in the third, new moon in the fourth. Like, this could be awesome time for you to maybe plan a trip, a short trip, a road trip with them, for example. Then, of course, on November 27th, there'll be a full moon in Gemini. And whilst I love full moons, this full moon in Gemini is a shakeup of your relationships. It's going to be opposite that stellium. Maybe you're going to have to learn to balance out some of those needs that you have on a personal level to be with your family, with those things that happen to be with friendships, right? There'll be some endings in friendships, there'll be some controversy, or some really deep conversations that can help you move your friendship forward and help you heal some much needed trauma that might have happened. Of course, all of this to be said, that there'll be a full moon in your 11th house, Leo, and take advantage of this time to really look at the groups that you're a part of, the social connections you've made, and sort of make decisions about what needs to be sort of cut out, what can be something that you should invest more time in, and maybe set some intentions around that. Now, Leo, I hope you have a wonderful month in November 2023. And Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for November 2023. We begin the month with Saturn going direct in your seventh house in Pisces. And this is such a really great event for you in terms of your love life, in terms of what you've accomplished so far with your significant other. There may have been some delays in some mutual plans you might have had, or even some partnerships that you might have built, business partnerships. And this is the time when Saturn finally allows you to make those much needed changes that you've been waiting on or making decisions on. Maybe release the partnerships that are no longer serving you, or at least move them forward. There's been a lot of delays because of Saturn going retrograde and all of the things that have been going on in terms of what you could accomplish, right? Then we have on November 8th, Venus entering Libra. And Venus really here in your second house, it is such a great time financially. If you didn't already make serious decisions about your finances when Mercury was here earlier this year, now Venus is going to be sort of that expansive energy of spend, spend, spend. Where can you spend? Where can you spend? That's why it's always good to keep to your budget. So make sure you are looking at your budget seriously, but also the values you have. Where are you spending where it's not in match with your values? Venus is going to bring about a lot of changes when it comes to what you might be focused on this month in the terms of what you value. So be careful about overspending and make sure that you stick to your budget. Then we have on November 9th, Mercury entering Sagittarius, and this is your fourth house. This is just such a great time this month. You're going to be surrounded by family with all of the events happening later on this year in terms of, the end of the year events. This is sort of prep for all of that. Mercury is going to be on the mind. You might be called to host maybe for some of the events for your family. You may have to think strategically about how you are spending and what things you are focused on for your connections with others. And then, of course, if you're trying to become a homeowner, you're trying to get out there and, change where your habitat is, this might bring to mind some decisions, some key decisions you're going to have to make, some key, thought situations, sitting down with your significant other and really sitting down on how you're going to get what you want, what you guys want to plan as a family, right? Then, of course, we have the new moon in Scorpio on November 13th. And this new moon in the third house is just so rejuvenating for you and your connections in terms of your neighbors, in terms of the people you are in community with, maybe some of the groups that you're a part of. You might see opportunities to volunteer, to look for ways to serve and help others as you are a Virgo. And of course, this is also great in terms of thinking and your mind and opening up your mind to new ideas. So if you're sitting there, wondering what to do with this new moon, make sure you are using pen and paper and writing every idea you have. Like sit down and go through all of the different ways that you could maybe, since your fourth house is being activated this month, save for the house or the home that you would like to live in, or create new ways for you to connect with your extended family, have new conversations around what your finances are going to look like down the road with your significant other. I'm just tying together all of the themes of this month, right? Then, of course, we have November 22nd and November 24th. Sun will be entering Sagittarius on November 22nd, and November 24th, Mars will be entering Sagittarius, making this month really a strong stellium, in the fourth house of home, family, children, and with the Sun and Mars focus there, like I was saying about all of these activations in your fourth house, your second house, everything else, it might mean that it is time to truly make decisions, to take action because Mars is going to be there, to look for motivation. Maybe you get another inspiration as to where to go next in terms of your home life. Maybe you are surrounded by children and you're trying to create more harmony in the home for them. And of course, with Pluto, in your fifth house all this time, I'm not surprised if it's having conversations around children, around how to transform the home life, and things like that. Of course, we have this energy of Mars. So use that motivation to sort of take the initiative. Maybe you want to clean your house. Maybe you want to purge some of the items in your house and donate them or throw them away, but really bring new energy to the home this month, right? Then we have November 27th, a full moon in Gemini. This is an ending to maybe some habits you had around your work life, or maybe the role that you had. Maybe it's time for a promotion. Maybe it's time to look for new work. Of course, this full moon in Gemini could be that decision making moment. It might affect your significant other in a significant way. And so, those ideas that are hitting your fourth house, that Venus energy that is asking you what you value, and that Saturn going direct, just alleviating some of the pressure of the Saturn brain, and it's slowing down. It could be that this full moon is that decisive moment where you say, yes, I need to move. I need to find a new job. I need to go to X place. I need to start applying. Or you sit down and you make a decision that you are looking to increase your footprint on this earth, because this is really about your long-term goals, your destiny, what your public image is. And so maybe something changes. Maybe you become a grandparent, or you are called to serve in a greater way in a different industry, right? Or in a different job. But this full moon is sort of bringing an ending to a cycle that you've been in your work life, and releasing some of those either negative or not needed energies within that sphere of your life. So, Virgo, good luck this month. It should be a great November 2023, no matter what. All right, and for my Libras, November 2023, we begin with Saturn going direct in Pisces in your sixth house. There's been probably a lot of developments, let's call them, when it comes to your health and well being, as well as some habits that you might be noticing you've got to kick. Well, Saturn going direct is going to give you the opportunity to say goodbye to some of the delays that have been happening in your health well-being habits, the work-life balance that you might not have been obtaining. This is the time for you to kick them, and Saturn will give you that power as long as you're leaning into it and not working against it, right? That's what I always say about any Saturn transit you have, especially if it's, your Saturn return and things like that. You want to make sure that you're not sitting around and hoping that things will get better, but actually taking actions, right? Over the last few months, maybe with this retrograde, you've felt like it's just slowed down. You haven't been able to take the actions you want. Take advantage with the Saturn direct and sort of accelerate it, 10x the effort you were trying to make so that you can obtain the sort of work life balance that you want, the health, the body, the sort of lifestyle that you're trying to obtain, right? Then on November 8th, Venus will go direct in Libra. And this is all you, Libra. Like, this is time for you to beautify yourself, for you to get pretty, like they say, if you're not already, because Libras are usually so beautiful, right? Just extra. Like, put a little bit more effort. Remember that health area is being affected. So you maybe put a little bit more effort into going to the gym or, revitalizing yourself. Really, your appearance in general might be more of focus and something that you spend more money on this month. So, like I always say, when Venus is transiting any house, just be careful that you don't overindulge, but make sure you use that energy. Maybe now is a great time if you were looking to get a haircut, if you were looking to just do a transformation. Venus being in your first house will be super extra helpful for you to get that result that you're looking for, right? Then on November 9th, Mercury will be entering Sagittarius. This is the first of the stellium that will be happening in this house. And Sagittarius is super positive. And being that you're a third house, is going to be affected, I would say it's really about your mind. It's about what you've been thinking about. Maybe there's been a lot of things on your mind that have been negative or difficult. Use this Mercury energy to sort of break through some of those barriers mentally or emotionally you've been having, as well as maybe think of ways for you to connect with some of your extended family and some of your neighbors, siblings. These are just ways for you to use this energy in the most positive way. Then, of course, on November 13th, there will be a new moon in Scorpio. And this is such a positive, rejuvenating new moon. With all this positive energy in Sagittarius, the new moon in the second house for you is all about maybe getting a raise, renewing your income, getting a second job, maybe even deciding that you're going on your own, going independent, becoming your own boss, things like that. Really focusing on what you value, what your money is worth. And being that your sixth house is really affected, and that your first house is also being rejuvenated by Venus, maybe it does mean that there'll be a change in career path. There'll be a change in your financial structure, maybe an increase even. But look out for this new moon to sit down and think of ways for you to maybe make a better impact in your income. Maybe a budget would help you as well. Of course, we move on, and on November 22nd, the sun will be entering Sagittarius, and November 24th, Mars will be there. And this is just bringing the focus, energy, and motivation to this house of, thoughts, education, communication, connecting with your social groups and neighbors. If you're not already motivated to maybe make new friends, this might be an opportunity for you to look for new social groups to join, as well as gathering with your family, extended family, especially. This is just a great time for you, especially that the holidays will be coming up. Maybe it's time to plan out how you're going to connect with them. Maybe you'll be hosting, or you'll be hosting them or visiting them, right? Plan those moments out. Then, of course, there'll be the November 27th full moon in Gemini. And, this is such a transformative full moon. Gemini in general is difficult, but the fact that it's going to be opposing the planet that rules Gemini, which is Mercury, it's just really telling me that there have been things on your mind when it comes to ninth house, themes, Gemini being in your ninth house, that you've been struggling with. Are you going to travel more? Are you going to study? Is there going to be some sort of experience that you have that will allow you to expand? Now, of course, there's also the theme of having the ability to bring in more income this month, right? Maybe there is something that you've been stopping yourself from doing that would allow you to increase your income. And this Gemini new moon sort of makes you think like, I need to do this. This has to happen. This, or full moon, sorry. This has to happen. And you sort of let go of some of the things that have been hanging you up, that you've had fear around or have been stopping you, right? Some of the thoughts that maybe you just needed to work through, or logistics that you needed to work through, right? That's third house themes, working through logistics, working through the details, to be able to obtain the sort of higher level education you're wanting. Or you could be graduating or working on graduating or ending some sort of educational feat that you've been working on, right? Of course, we have this all in mind. While this month is full of just a lot of energy all around, make sure that you are keeping yourself motivated, connecting with your extended family, being happy about the rejuvenations that are coming, and focusing your finances on improving yourself, right? So, good luck this month, Libra. Oh, my Scorpios, how are you guys doing? Did you survive? It's finally November and we are ready. This is your era, right? November 4th. It's not your era, as your Sagittarius this time, but you know what I'm saying. We're in Scorpio season when we begin November. And on November 4th, Saturn goes direct to Pisces. And this is such a great time. If you felt creatively stuck, Scorpio, like this is not a time for you to be questioning or doubting. Like, this is a great time for you to take the ideas that are coming in your mind, especially since Mercury is hitting your second house of finances later on this month, and just write it down. Do it. Execute. Don't be so caught up in the strategy. That's why Mars is there, to sort of protect you. It's your ruling planet. It's saying, like, giving you permission to push forward. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. November 4th, Saturn goes direct in Pisces. Like I said, releasing some of that creative energy, creative juices. If you were trying to get pregnant, maybe this is going to be a better time. If you're looking to create better connection with your children, this is going to sort of remove those blocks, remove some of the negative energy that might have been hanging over you, especially with that Saturn going retrograde before. Then, of course, on November 8th, Venus will be going direct in Libra. This is such a great time for you mentally. You're usually mentally strong, but with Venus in the 12th house, it's going to bring a lot of healing energy to those spiritual aspects of your life, to that underlying mindset that you might have. Maybe you've had some hangups about how you look or how you're feeling, and it sort of helps you release that and focus more on what's beautiful inside and out, right? What's especially inside, since it rules the mind, right? And hidden things. Of course, it might help you to also resolve and heal some issues that you might be having as well. Then on November 9th, Mercury enters Sagittarius. Like I said, you've got that Saturn going direct in the creative house, and then Mercury and those other two planets, Sun and Mars, becoming stellium in this house. So the money house, the house of your finances, the house of your wealth, a house of what you contribute, the house of what you value. So use Mercury in this time to make some key decisions, to do a budget, to sit down and write down what your values are, what you'd like to see, how you'd like to live your life, what lifestyle you're truly trying to achieve. Especially with Saturn going direct, you want to utilize that time to have a real understanding about what it is that you can creatively do to be able to earn more, to be able to increase your wealth, whether that's going to be studying, learning, exploring, or understanding yourself on a better level, right? What you're going to spend on in terms of being able to create more value for your life, right? Then on November 13th, there will be a new moon in Scorpio. Like I said, this is your era. This is such a good time for you. especially this new moon being that it'll be in your first house, it means that there's going to be a lot of things that you might have been hung up about, especially with Venus in the 12th house, right? You might have been slowed down by with Saturn going direct or Saturn going retrograde in your fifth. This new moon is rejuvenation, reignition, right? Those decisions you needed to make, maybe this is the time you're going to take them. Those actions that you might have felt you couldn't obtain, with this new moon in Scorpio, maybe it's time to revamp your style or change up how you are approaching others or yourself, right? Your mindset, things like that. And of course, we move on. And on November 22nd, Sun will be entering Sagittarius. And on November 24th, Moon will be entering Sagittarius, bringing the focus and the energy and motivation into that second house, right? That stellium in your money house, like I was saying. Have all of these planets sort of giving you a message that the things that you're trying to obtain, financially speaking, the value that you're trying to contribute as well as obtain in your life is about to change. It's about to be full force. And with Saturn going direct and like none of these retrograde Mercury negative energies, you're out here, you're moving forward, you are going to take the steps now, right? Because Mars is there and Sun is there and Mercury is there. So take the steps you need to take to achieve what you want to see in your financial future. Then, of course, we've got that new moon, or rather full moon in Gemini, happening on the 27th of November, and tying together all these themes about how you're going to change your financial future, how you're going to change your life in some serious and significant way. And this is going to be, like I say, for every sign this month, this full moon in Gemini is going to be an elimination of excuses, an elimination of these sort of things that have been holding you back. Saturn going direct in your fifth house, Gemini being the full moon of this month on your eighth house, this sort of connection to that has the understanding that the decisions that or rather the holdup that Saturn, the things that Saturn was holding up, in your fifth house, in your creativity, in your ability to attract someone significant into your life, your romantic life. And now this full moon in the eighth house, there's going to be some contracts, soul contracts that you're going to let go of, some conversations around money that you're going to have to overcome. And with Venus, that really the planet of the finances, of money, of the financial houses, Taurus and Libra, we've got this 12th house energy that means that there's going to be a profound change, right? There's going to be a deep understanding that if you don't eliminate the habits or eliminate the actions that have not led to your success, now this full moon in Gemini is just going to cut it off, right? It's time to end it. It's time to end these subconscious things that have stopped you, these doubts, these, sort of affirmations against yourself, right? So take advantage of these energies this month, Scorpio. Maybe you'll be able to level up some of the decisions or the business acumens and actions you've been trying to obtain. And maybe even a raise will be in order, or some sort of future income that you're trying to obtain will be set into motion, right? Whether that's setting up a business or not, that's up to you. Hopefully this reading for November 2023 helps. As for my Sagittarius friends, this is your month. There'll be a stellium in your sign, but we begin with Saturn going direct in Pisces in your fourth house. If you felt like maybe you haven't been able to accomplish some of your goals when it comes to your home life, whether it's cleanliness goals or goals of actually having a home and creating a home, maybe the Saturn direct will release some of those blocks that haven't allowed you to accomplish that, right? So take advantage of Saturn going direct. Take the steps that you need to take. Maybe you need to create a savings account. Maybe you need to have some sort of financial advisor or someone help you through the process. But sit down and take advantage of Saturn going direct and no longer stopping you from achieving this dream you might have had, or maybe connecting with your family on a deeper level, right? Then on November 8th, Venus will be entering entering Libra. This is just such a good time. Sagittarius, you're usually a great friend, right? Like you are the friend of friends. You have Libra there, so people usually love you as a friend, right? And this is such a lovely placement to be able to receive now that you give so much as such a good friend, right? And so maybe there'll be some loving, birthday parties for you, right? If you're a sun in Sagittarius, or there'll be a gift that you receive, or some spending when it comes to your friendships and the connections you have. And maybe there's a dream or a wish you've been trying to accomplish. And this month, with Venus in the 11th house, you'll be able to accomplish that more clearly, right? And have more energy towards that. Then on November 9th, Mercury will be entering Sagittarius. It's the first of the planets within the stellium that's going to be in your sign. Make sure you take advantage. It's in your first house, so it's about what you're thinking about yourself. It's about how you feel about yourself. Make some decisions, sit down and think through some of the actions you've taken and the actions you could take to improve your life somehow. And then with the new moon in Scorpio on November 13th, really this 12th house energy, since it's going to be in Scorpio, is something that maybe is talking about your subconscious mind and how it later affects your life, how it affects you on an everyday basis, or maybe stops you. What beliefs stop you from having more friendships or having more creative romantic connections, right? Because we have activation with Venus in your 11th house, activation of the full moon later on in the month in your 7th. Like this new moon is there to help you make some key decisions and clear up some emotions around what your limiting beliefs are, how you can improve yourself. Maybe you'll even get the opportunity to travel with some of your friends or with a significant other. And so this new moon is sort of rejuvenating that energy, setting up some new paths for you to achieve those things, as well as healing you overall of some of these beliefs that maybe since your first house is so active this month have not allowed you to achieve the look that you want or the way that you want to approach life in a new way, right? And so this new moon is going to clear that up for you. Then, of course, we have the sun entering Sagittarius and Mars entering Sagittarius. November 22nd, Sun, November 24th, Mars. And this is going to bring that focus, energy, that motivation to improve yourself. If you've already decided that you're going to do what you're going to do, whether it's weight loss or it's mental health or it's taking a vacation, taking a break, focusing on yourself, Sagittarius, letting go of everybody else's hangups. Now that this Sun and Mars are there, you're going to take action. You're going to have more focus. This is a great time, like for you of all the signs, to do maybe a full makeover inside and out, mentally, emotionally, physically. So you're able to obtain the sort of outward look or appearance that you're trying to achieve. Some of you might decide, maybe it's the time to go and see a plastic surgeon or have some sort of conversation with your healthcare provider or someone who can help you improve your overall look. But it's not just superficial, just looks. It's sort of like that internal dialogue as well. Like, how do I feel about myself and how is that seen? How does that show? Am I, not dressing in the appropriate way that would attract the type of mate that I want, or not creating the type of lifestyle that would allow me to attract the right person or to have the right group of friends or the right expectations of my own life? And seeing as there is themes of where home is for you, and of course the full moon in Gemini in the 7th house on November 27th, hitting that sort of opposition to Mercury, Sun, and Mars, there's sort of a question like, where is home? And who is home, right? Who is your home? And you sort of giving up this idea of maybe the expectations you had of a significant other since it's your second house, right? Maybe the expectations you had of this imaginary person you have not attracted yet that doesn't necessarily serve who you are as a person, right? Maybe you're the type of person who's more traditional. You want someone more traditional, but being that you're a Sagittarius, you're sort of unconventional, right? And that's harder to compensate. Maybe there's a balance between those two energies. Maybe there's something in you or outside of you that has to change, in or out, that can create more balance when it comes to your loving relationships. Being that it's a full moon, I would say it's an ending to an expectation you had or an ending to a relationship you had that no longer serves you. So, good luck to you this month, Sagittarius. And don't fret, because all of this is anchored, all of this is held together by that Saturn direct, which means this is for your greater good. This is for the greater service of your life and the destiny you lead. So, everything is going to work out for you, as you know, because you're such a positive person. Sagittarius, this is your month. Enjoy it. Enjoy your season and have a great November 2023. Next, we have Capricorn here for your November 2023 astrology, sun, moon, and rising. We begin the month with Saturn going direct in Pisces in your third house. If there have been some ideas that have not panned out, or maybe some relationships that you've been sort of feeling stuck in or feeling like it's not moving in any direction that's positive, the Saturn direct is going to release some of those unnecessarily heavy emotions or feelings and help you to take some action or release you really from the burden of that slowdown that was happening in that area of your life. Then on November 8th, Venus will be entering Libra, which is your 10th house. It's going to be a great blessing to your just financial life and overall your work life, really, right? Because this is the 10th house. It's going to affect your career, some goals you've been having. Venus is probably going to bless you. Maybe there'll be a raise, maybe there'll be a bonus, maybe you'll become a grandparent, or you'll be able to get closer to your grandchildren, if you are a person who lives far away from them with Saturn going direct, especially during this time of the holidays. Maybe it'll mean that you'll be able to go and spend some more time with them, especially with Venus just giving you some love when it comes to your standing in the world. But really, if you are out there, you're looking for a new job, or you've been applying, or you've been waiting for an opportunity, Capricorns, this is the time to do it while Venus is in the eighth house. So send out those applications, look for those opportunities wherever you can. Then on November 9th, Mercury will be entering Sagittarius. This will be part of that stellium that's going to be happening. So 3 planets will be there this month. Mercury, Sun, and Mars will be entering your 12th house. But we start off with Mercury. And since really the 12th house is about, the subconscious mind, the things that we're not willing to admit, the hidden things, it might mean that some of those issues come to the surface and you're able to sort of take on more of that mental burden to be able to get through those difficult conversations or difficult issues that you're tackling with inside, right? And really use Mercury to be able to do that, because you'll have this sort of life force energy, right? That Mercury brings, that helps your mind be clarified. Maybe it's a good time for you to sit down and write down some of the things that are troubling you, write down some of the things that are bringing down your self-confidence, or some of the conflicts you're having internally about, where you're going to go, how you're going to plan your retirement, for example, or what you're going to do in terms of just bringing life to something that you feel is been beating you down, like, some bad karma that's coming back around. And of course, your core belief systems. What about the belief systems you have has been limited? Especially when Mars and Sun enter on this later on in the month, they'll bring focus to this area. So you want to use Mercury to really sit down and settle some of the doubts that you have in this area, right? Then, of course, we have the new moon in Scorpio on November 13th. And this new moon is going to be in your 11th house. I really think it ties back to this idea around your friends, your friendships, the connections you've made, and going in there with a fresh start in mind. Maybe there's a new group that you'd like to join. Maybe there's an idea that you'd like to, execute. This is the house of hopes and dreams. Maybe there's something that you've been hoping for. And now that you have this energy in your 12th house, you're going to be able to work through those limiting beliefs that haven't allowed you to do them. And now that the new moon is there, right, you've worked through them with Mercury in your 12th. The new moon is entering your 11th of dreams. Now you can actually do something about them. Now the new moon in the 12th house is going to sort of ask you to make some crucial actions or decisions, right? Especially as it'll be followed up by November 22nd, Sun entering Sagittarius, and November 24th, Mars entering Sagittarius. That is going to be your big push, right? All of these limiting beliefs that have been stopping you, all of these things that you feel you might not have accomplished, or maybe you thought like you wanted to travel more, you wanted to see more of the world. And you'll be able to do that now that there is these planets in your 12th house. You'll be able to make the decision of where you're going to go, of how you're going to get there, what you're going to do. You'll have the motivation and focus to be able to execute them or to find a way to do them more often, maybe, or even just go to a dream area that you've always dreamed of going, right? Then on November 27th, full moon will be in Gemini. And again, this is going to be an end to some nasty habits, maybe, or some difficulties that you've been having. I really think it ties back to that subconscious limiting belief, right? And you're sitting there, you are limited, you're feeling like you can't accomplish something, especially as Capricorns. You're so focused on your career, you're so focused on your output that you never really take the time to have a look, like a sky view from the top. Where am I in this world? Where do I stand in this world? How has it helped me? And how is it hurting me? Gemini and full moon is going to ask you to let go of some of those habits that have not served you, that have not helped you to improve your career, that have not elevated you in some way, or even that haven't helped you to achieve the dream that you want, right? So hopefully this month will bless you with some travel, some insight about how you can release some of your fears and accomplish some of your dreams. Good luck, Capricorn. As for my Aquarius friends, this is such a cool month if you are working on building better friendships, better connections. I would say take advantage of the stellium in Sagittarius this month to do that. But we begin the month with November 2023 with the November 4th Saturn going direct in Pisces. This is in your second house. I know money's been tight or difficult. There might have been some delays when it came to some sort of financial outcome you're trying to have, or maybe some of your values you've been questioning, like, what am I even doing with my life? With this Saturn going direct, you'll get some clarification, you'll get some much needed relief, and movement when it comes to those questions and doubts. Maybe there might be a bonus or some sort of income that might be released because of this. Maybe you'll have a better idea about what direction you'd like to take as well. And then just take advantage of that energy. Don't work against it. Build a budget, stick to it. Especially since this is second house energy, your values are very important right now to make a decision about, to appreciate what you have as opposed to what isn't there, since Saturn is a malefic. And, there's a lot of judginess with Saturn when you're not being grateful for what you want in the second house, right? For what you have, rather. Then on November 8th, Venus enters Libra. Again, this question of values, right? Since Venus is in the ninth house, you've traveled so far, you've gone so far. What else is left to explore? And maybe Venus being here in the ninth house is going to ask you to continue that exploration, continue to do more internal and external exploration, learning, growing, exploring, traveling. There may be an opportunity to travel with Venus in the ninth house, giving you some luck, even if it's just, a state away or to another country, whatever sort of experience you have. Go out there and experience them. Go out there and learn and grow. And if you're thinking about maybe entering into some sort of higher education experience as an Aquarius, this is a really good time, seeing that Venus is in your ninth house, right? Then, of course, we have Mercury entering Sagittarius in the 11th house on November 9th. Oh man, I got all confused. On November 9th, Mercury will be entering your 11th house. It'll be the first in the stellium, Aquarius. And having this experience, having this understanding that you are more than just your friendships. You're more than just the person who, everybody can rely on, because that's really what happens to a lot of Aquarius is they become the crutch. They become the person that everybody's looking to do something for them, right? There's this attitude that you will always be there. But Mercury is going to bring to mind, how have my friendships served me? How have I been able to improve the lives of others? So use this Mercury energy to make some decisions about your future, your hopes, your wishes, your friendships, what you're able to accomplish with them. You'll get some movement later on while Sun and Mars move into this house, but bring to mind how you can improve your friendships, how your friendships can improve in a material way. What they are they really there to serve you, or is it becoming a sort of underlying burden, right? Especially with Saturn going direct in the second house, it might have something to do with your finances. Maybe you are, fronting and helping a lot of people out, and it's putting a strain on you financially. And now you get to make a decision about focusing on yourself instead, focusing on your hopes and dreams instead of your friendships, etc. Especially with that opposition with the full moon, which I'll explain later, right? Then on November 13th, there'll be a new moon in Scorpio. And this is all about your career, about your standing in the world, what you're going to do about it, what actions you need to take. Seeing as there's a lot of activation in hopes and dreams, it might mean that you might actually have a really good business idea or a really good career move that you have in mind that you're just going to take action on. Venus in Libra in your ninth house, all of this activation in your 11th house, it really lets me know that there might be an educational piece with Venus in the ninth house that is going to affect your hopes and dreams. That's stellium in the 11th, and that will improve overall your career and its trajectory, right? But this new moon in this house is going to help you make those decisions. So sit down, write down your intentions, think through what you would like to do, think through what dreams you have and how it can be improved and things like that. Then on November 22nd, Sun moves into Sagittarius, and November 24th, Mars moves into Sagittarius. And this is such a really good time. Like I said, take action on your hopes and dreams. Take action on setting boundaries with your friendships. Take action on doing some well-deserved, observations of what you are heading into and what sort of direction you're going in, right? Such a great time if you have been wrestling with, what creative future you would like to have, what sort of creative experience you'd like to have on this planet, right? And of course, I say this understanding that this opposition with the full moon in Gemini on November 27th means that you're letting go of maybe some projects that are no longer serving you, some friendships that are no longer serving you, some experiences, some familial ties. Maybe there's just not this level of joy with what you were doing before, and you want to achieve something greater. And this full moon is just like, cut out the fat, right? Cut out the things that are no longer creating joy in your life. Cut out the things that are no longer making you achieve the lifestyle you want. Cut out the things or expenses, excuse me, even that are not allowing you to travel as much as you want, not allowing you to experience as much as you want, not allowing you to be more carefree, for example, right? And hopefully this month will all tie together and create something magical by the end. So good luck to you guys, Aquarius, for November 2023. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is your November 2023 Horoscopes, and we begin the month with November 4th, Saturn going direct in your own sign, Pisces. I know it's your first house, so you've probably felt a lot of things getting sort of truncated and you're trying your best, but it's like running through molasses and nothing is happening, a little bit of quicksand even, but it's finally going direct. So take a sigh of relief. Everything should be okay. It's all going to work out for you, especially since Sagittarius season is starting, and that means super positivity for everyone, right? So be on the lookout for things opening up for you and what direction you need to go in, especially if it's your Saturn return and you're sitting out there wondering, what should I be doing? How should I be doing this? This is the time. Now that everything is moving forward, take advantage of it and take the actions you've been thinking of taking to do what you have to do. Right. Moving on November 8th, Venus will be entering Libra. And this is just a great money house. The eighth house is all about your eighth house, Libra, is all about other people's money. Who is providing for me? What are we going to be gaining? And Pisces is more of a sign that looks for creative ways to earn money, creative ways to create wealth. So this eighth house Venus activation is going to allow you to sort of focus your mind on what it is you need to do. Maybe there is an inheritance in mind. Maybe there is paperwork that needs to be signed. Maybe there's actions that need to be taken. And while Saturn was retrograde, it was like taking forever to get to. But this is like a double blessing. Saturn going direct, Venus in your eighth house. There's a sort of theme around, the paperwork that you've been waiting for, maybe finally arriving, or, being allowed to finally make money because the paperwork is in order for your business, or your partner's finally signing up and signing on to be able to help you out, right? Then on November 9th, Mercury will be entering Sagittarius. And like I said, super positive. This is in your 10th house. And I would say, Pisces, this is about money. This is about your standing in the world. This is about your dreams, about what you're accomplishing, especially since Pluto is sort of transforming your 11th house of, what goals, wishes, and hopes you have. As it's ongoing, that November 9th, Mercury entering Sagittarius is going to hit you like, what decisions do I need to make? Where do I need to go next? What steps do I need to take? How do I make this happen? And for someone who needs a lot of extra motivation, it's going to be followed by the sun and the moon, just being that water signs usually need a little bit more push to get things done. So there'll be a lot of motivation in this direction of your career, your long-term plans, what you're trying to achieve in this planet, how you're trying to achieve them, etc. Then on November 13th, there'll be a new moon in Scorpio. And if you've already been planning on going somewhere, or maybe the education piece is key to your achieving your dreams, goals, wishes, and to be able to obtain wealth, right? We've got that Venus in the eighth, Mercury, Sun, Mars in the 10th. Now we have this new moon in the ninth, and it's sort of bringing together this theme around what improvements you need to make, what you need to educate yourself on, how you need to make certain decisions about your education and who your mentors are going to be, teachers are going to be, gurus are going to be. And this new moon will help, it was a great time for you to sit down and maybe do some research on who can help you, what you can do, where you should go, what school you should be applying to, etc. And there could also be an opportunity to travel as well, since the ninth house is the house of travel. And you might actually have to maybe make a decision, study abroad or go to a school internationally that'll be able to serve you better, and things like that, or just take a nice trip, right? Right now. And then on November 22nd, Sun will be entering Sagittarius. And on November 24th, Mars will be entering Sagittarius. Again, like I said, this is bringing the focus and the motivation into this house of your career, of your dreams, your goals. And you're just going to be super motivated to just get things done and do everything you need to do, be on the right step. But like I said, Saturn is still there. It's still in your first house. So you want to do it right. Fill the paperwork out correctly. Do everything you need to do. Do not take shortcuts just because Mars is there. Because I'm telling you, a lot of times you're, stepping over yourself to get to the next step and like hoping that everything works out for you. But at the end of the day, there might be taxes you have to file eventually. There might be, notices. You might be causing issues, or you might have skipped a step of doing a little bit more research. So just be a little bit of cautious, and take the time to learn what you need to learn, Venus in the ninth, to be able to accomplish what you want with this 10th house activation, right? Then, of course, this also brings into mind the opposition that's happening to this stellium, which is the full moon in Gemini. And I tell you, do not skimp on this. There will be some sort of battle between your home and your future, and what you want, and who you serve, and where you live, and where you're going to accomplish these goals, right? It might be that you need to study abroad in X country and like your family's holding you back. And Saturn was going retrograde and you sort of felt this need to sort of appease these people and make them happy. But now Saturn's direct. Venus is in your ninth house. All of the planets are in alignment for you, and you need to let go of something in your home life, of something in your family structure that is not allowing you to bloom, not allowing you to sort of exert your own personal power, to be able to do more for yourself, to be able to accomplish more for yourself. So take advantage of this full moon in Gemini and sort of shed those issues, shed those blocks, and let go of some of the hangups you might have had or fears you might have had, especially when it comes to untethering yourself or letting go of, your home life or what makes you comfortable, right? Because that's a lot of fourth house themes. What are your foundations? What foundations do you have? What beliefs do you have that are not allowing you to sort of achieve your greater goals, right? Anyway, Pisces, I hope you guys have a great month. Good luck with all of these transits, and thank you for listening.